for everyone to join, and then we will begin.
All right.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Tomorrow's success starts with today's insight. My name is Pavan, and I will be your host and facilitator for this session. Today's conversation is designed to help organizations understand why assessments are essential for modernizing communication workflows and preparing for the future. Joining me today are two distinguished leaders from Belvo. First, we have Rejoy, country head for North America. Rejoy leads business operations, account management, pre sales, and service delivery across North America. With over 15 years of experience in CCM and Internet IT services, he's passionate about aligning tech solutions with business goals to drive client success. Also, we have Bajrang. Bajrang has been with Belvo since 2010 and currently serves as Strategic Solutions Director, where he leads solution architecture, drives innovation, and ensures the successful delivery of complex communication strategies. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Pawan.
Good to
Looking
be
for the
here. Thanks,
conversation.
Pawan.
Perfect.
Same here.
Let us also look at the agenda for today. First, we would look at why assessments matter, the business needs, and the challenges organizations face. Then, we would look at the real benefits of an assessment, including operational efficiency, alignment, and future readiness. We'll also look at our approach, that is Bello's approach, how our method delivers clarity and an actionable roadmap. We would then look at a few real world examples, what we uncovered for a client and the impact, and then we would have a live Q&A session where your questions will be answered by our experts. So let's begin from the basics. Organizations invest very heavily in technology, but many still struggle with fragmented processes and inconsistent customer experience. My first question is to you, Rejoy. Tell me, why is an assessment the first right step?
Sure, Pawan, good question. So, Pawan, in what we have seen is in recent years there has been a significant increase in how the CCM tech has evolved, right? And with AI in the mix, the tools have become kind of way more smarter than they used to be, and the phase at which they are kind of enhancing themselves is exponential. It's very fast paced at this point. At the same time, we have also seen that a lot of our organization is kind of in a race to get the right tool for their organization, right? They want to have the best tool out there in the market. They want to purchase the best one. However, this is also the problem where we have seen a lot of organizations are making poor investment choices. And the factors that kind of leads to these poor choices are, many times the organization they decide to buy a software or an application based on what their competitors are doing, and many of these times the argument is that okay, they are in the same industry as we are in. They have this tool which has got AI capabilities, and we think because we are in the same industry, it would work for us as well. So, and that argument doesn't fit correctly in every case. Sometimes the organization decides to buy a tool based on that specific feature in a tool. So they might like one single feature, and with AI attached to it, they feel that that's the right tool and right option for all the problems. And that also, is not the right way to do it. No, generally, what happens when you go ahead and try to purchase a software or an enhancement to your product without a proper understanding of what it does is that now you have a tool that has got a huge investment with a huge implementation cost associated to it. Because now it's not just implementing like kind of lift and shift approach. Now you also have to tackle how your whole infrastructure is associated to this new tool. And because that investigation was not done previously before making the purchase, now you're
Mhm.
in a place wherein your implementation cost has skyrocketed. And we have been seeing this scenario quite frequently right now because of how fast the things are moving, right? Not every company have the right kind of people or right kind of technical know-how to make those judgment for them. And this is where the assessment comes into picture. If you have an assessment done by one of the industry expert who has done similar kind of things many times, who have worked with a similar customers as you have, backed by all the different CCM tools that they have worked on, you basically get a technical know-how, kind of a guide that you can help you to make a better investment, better understanding of how the tools work with your industry, right? And that's what the assessment could do for you.
Perfect. So, in short, what you're saying is that a good assessment can give us clarity, it can reduce risk, and it will set us on the right path. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful. Piggybacking on the same question, tell us about Belvo's assessment and how is it different from the rest?
A good question. So here's what happens, right? So because Belbu has been in this industry for last 25 years, we have almost worked with all the CCM tools out there in the market, and combine it with the different kind of customers that we have worked in different sectors. So at this point, Belbu is in this unique position where we understand different tools and how it's impact the different industry and all the different combinations. So, we over this past 25 years, we have worked with all these industries and we have seen all different kind of scenarios that they fall in, all kind of problems that they expect in long run. So we have those learnings with us. So when you do an assessment with Belvo, what we're getting is an assessment report backed up by this experience, by these learnings, and by this expertise that we have. So that's number one. The another side of it is like how we do the assessment, right? So we the kind of assessment we do is we do a top to bottom approach. So we start from the top of the organization, trying to figure out, what exactly they are looking for, what kind of ROI they're looking for in an assessment, and from that point onwards, we try to see, what are the different departments that gets impacted. So we work in a department-wise assessment. So what we do is our business team will work with the client's business team. Our technical team will work with our client technical team. Our solution team will work with the client solution team. So in that way, what happens is we try to get the problems that each of these department faces. We kind of bring that back to our drawing table. And then we try to figure out what the right approach is, right? Even though it's the same industry, not every company will have the same problem. They will have different problems. And the ultimate solution here is use our learnings that we have learned in a similar industry, but also make sure that all your other problems are also taken into consideration and give you a roadmap kind of thing that you could use, for investing better.
Hmm.
Right.
Wonderful.
And our strength lies in combining deep technical expertise with a business first lens. We look at process holistically, people, system, workflows. That's what makes the roadmap actionable. As Rijwai mentioned about the roadmap. So during the assessment report, we gives a detailed report, an assessment report that contains the roadmap for the future, how the future state will be implemented, what would be the cost, and how much time it will take.
Wonderful. Majran, can you take us through the journey of an assessment, through maybe one or two concrete examples of the assessments that you've conducted before?
Sure, Pawan. So I'll share a quick real world example that we
Mhm.
recently completed an assessment for a client who was unsure which CCM platform would best support their future and their technical needs. They were working with the legacy solution that no longer aligned with the compliance and the standard of the customer experience they wanted to deliver. So they were looking for a right platform that can meet their business and technical needs for the future. So what we did, we went on site and collaborated closely with teams across every impacted departments. So we first engaged with their business team or the stakeholders to understand what their goals and vision is. Then
Mhm.
we have discussed with the technical teams to ensure the feasibility and integration readiness. So when we were talking with the business and the technical teams, so their main goal was to track each that they are running. Not only the job, they also wanted to track the mail pieces as well. When I say tracking of the job and mail pieces, So tracking is the job. Let's say one job comes in. So where that job is right now, it's in the document generation step, it's in the printing, it's in the inserting step, and whether it goes out to the customer. So when it goes out to the job, out to the door, so they want you to track each mail pieces, whether it's outbound or inbound. So they want you to track whether that particular mail piece is being delivered to the customer or not. So to keep in that mind, so what we did, we have reviewed all their existing communications in detail. What are the applications or the softwares they are using currently and delivery workflows to identify what can be replaced, what can be enhanced and integrated, or what are the softwares that we will need to integrate with the future state. So to do that, what we did, we combined all this information. We prepared a detailed report that defined the current state, what are the challenges,
Mhm.
limitations, and risk. Then the future state, a scalable CCM architecture that support compliance and business growth, a recommended CCM platform and technology stack, implementation roadmap with cost and timeline. So when we have shared this detailed report with them, with the roadmap, it doesn't like, okay, this is the roadmap and it can be implemented. It will take a 1 year to implement that
Mhm.
solution. So it's not like that. So we have sit together with business and technical team and then phases, then divide that implementation within phases. A three-phase implementation was there. Okay, first we have to, in phase one we have to achieve this, then second, and then third. So it was a detailed implementation roadmap. The biggest advantage of that assessment report was like client will get a comprehensive report, the how their future solutions will look like before making any major investment. So upfront they we have freezed the requirements, and if needed we can, and when we were doing the assessment, we have phrased the requirements, and in discussion when we were doing the discussion of the assessment report, during that there is another new requirement comes up. So during that new requirement we implemented that requirement, and then we have finalized the solutions that we have offered to them. So this is the beauty of the assessment. So you know upfront, like, okay, what we are going to do, what we are going to implement, what are the softwares that we are going to implement in the future state. So, so this is
That-
the one of the example where the client was unsure about the CCM platform.
mhm. Can you also give us another example where the client had already decided on the CCM platform that needed to be implemented?
Yes, Pawan. So we recently conducted another assessment for one of our client who had already decided the CCM platform that needs to be implemented. So our objective was to design our solution around that CCM platform. So their goal was to bring the document generation process in-house instead of relying on a vendor, but they don't have the expertise in-house. So being an expert in CCM industry, we did a detailed or comprehensive assessment for them. We visited on site for a day because to meet their business stakeholders, because most of their technical team was working from home after COVID. So what we have decided how we can collaborate with the technical team. So we have scheduled virtual meetings with different team members, with different stakeholders. And then during the assessment, we met with the stakeholders from various departments to understand their business and the technical needs. What is their current process? How they are involved in the current process or the each step of the processing. Then we have reviewed their current documents and the delivery channels. So how they are sending the documents currently, they for example print emails, sending a email, SMS notifications, so the delivery channels, then the archival process, what is their retention policy, everything. Then, when we have analyzed everything and evaluated everything from their side, then we also deep dive into the current process, what they are sending to their existing vendor and what they are getting back from their existing vendor, right? So once we have reviewed all these, then we have prepared a detailed report for them as well. Like I mentioned in my first example, so that detailed report contains the current state, the future state, and the implementation roadmap. Because it was a big client and enterprise, so there was different department involved into it, so the implementation roadmap was not an easy task. So we divided that implementation roadmap according to the different departments, according to the different communications, and divided into different phases. So there were around 6 phases. It was divided into the 6 phases, and we have implemented into that. So thank you.
Wonderful. Let's also talk about the benefits. For example, when an organization commits to an assessment, Bajrang, tell me, what tangible outcomes can they expect?
There are a lot of benefits, but usually when we talk about, we see three benefits. First is the strategic alignment, making sure communication platforms are truly support business goals and the technical goals, right? The second is the efficiency. There shouldn't be any redundancies. Let's say if I'm using two tools today to send the print communication and the email communications, so I wanted to make sure when I'm selecting a new CCM platform, so it should meet all those requirements and cut the cost, right? The future readiness. The system should be designed in that way that it should be scalable, it should be automated, and should be cloud supportive.
Perfect. Before we wrap up, I have one last question for all of you. If I'm a business leader watching this, what's the one key takeaway that you want me to remember?
Well, I'll take the question, Pawan.
Yes.
As I said in my beginning of this webinar, the technology currently is evolving very rapidly, right? It's too fast-paced. Things are moving so strong and so quickly, and if we have to keep up with that pace, we definitely have to upgrade your technologies. Definitely have to make sure that you have the top-notch CCM tools out there, right? But when you make the decision, you definitely should be in a position that you have the right kind of data that you can back that up, back the decision with, right? You need to make sure that you have the accurate solution, you have the effective, reliable support that you want. So a comprehensive assessment will ensure that you have that robust strategy, you have that strong support network. You also have a clear mitigation plan if anything fails in future, right? So in short, by investing in a proper proactive assessment strategy, what you're doing is you are kind of securing your future readiness with a sure shot successful plan. So that's what you're going to do here. So I would recommend that if you are one of the organizations who is working in CCM and leading a CCM industry, invest in assessment, work with us, do an yearly assessment, keep some kind of budget for an yearly assessment so that you know what your shortcomings are at this point, and you can tackle that first before even jumping onto a new technology. Try to see where you are right now, what are the areas that you need to be fixed first, and then venture into any new CCM technology. So an assessment will help you with that.
And Belvo's assessment don't just highlight the problems. We provide a path forward tailored to your business because every business is unique. So
Absolutely.
we cannot fit one solutions into the for all the businesses. So we have to sometimes we have to tailor, customize the business solutions. So
Mhm.
whenever we are providing the solutions, doing the assessment, so we have tailored the solutions according to your business needs.
Perfect. Great. Now let's take a few audience questions. I've had a few questions that have come in during the session. And let's continue with the conversation. Guys, if you have any questions, please go ahead and use the Q&A section and ask those questions. If we are unable to answer those questions, our team will definitely get back to you with those answers. But the questions that have come in, let me ask those. The first question is That is an assessment, or can the assessment be conducted on site, virtual, or can it be a mix of both?
It could be a mix of both, frankly speaking. Pawan, what we have seen here is, it's much more effective when we are on site. The
Mhm.
reason being, it's a collaborative effort. It's not that, that we work and we do not need much of attention from customer. No, we need a collaboration from the customer as well. And we have seen that when we are on site, there is much more buy-in from the customer in that way. Secondly, the assessments, goes for a week, and when I say week, don't think of as whole 8 hours everybody going into a meeting room and doing assessment. No, that's not how we do. We segregate it department wise, and then we kind of schedule 1 hour every day. And what the way we do is we do a Q&As. We ask the question, try to see what your problems are, take those questions back, and then try to see what additional questions comes up. So that's how we do it. And we've seen that when we are on site, there is much more chances to get those and questions answered in a better way. Now we understand with COVID and people working from home, not everybody is in office. In
True.
that case, also we do a hybrid thing. We still come to your location. We could still speak with the folks who are in the office, and people who are remote can, you know, probably get on the meeting, and we could then conduct an assessment in that way. So it's both actually. It's on site and hybrid. We recommend on site because that's we have seen that's kind of give you better outcome.
Perfect. Perfect. So the short answer is it can be out on site, it can be virtual, and it can be a mix of all of the above.
Yes.
Wonderful. I have one more question, and this is from the perspective of the clients. How many people from our side would be involved, and how long does an assessment typically take?
It all depends upon what kind of assessment we are doing, and which industry you are in, right? Let's say like how Bajrang kind of gave you two examples, right? In one case you had the customer has selected the CCM and the other one they have not. So in
Mm.
both the scenarios, some of the components would be same, but there will be a division wherein how we do the assessment. Once we know what kind of tool you're using, so the assessment will be in and around how that tool will help you, how we will integrate it. Versus on the other side, we also have to make sure that what each of different departments trying to expect from this single tool, right? So the assessment kind of deviate from somewhere in between to those two different paths. So based on that, plus how big your industry is, how big your organization is, we'll have to incorporate and see who we are speaking with. So the way we do is we try to work with you. We try to see to give us a list of people that we have to talk to, and that determines how long the assessment would go. Typically, if we are doing only a CCM based assessment,
Mhm.
we need three to 4 days on site, followed by a week and a half for to get your detailed report. And if we are doing a assessment outside of CCM as well, because we do have partners that we work with, we do different kind of assessments, like assessments for digitalization, for example. In which case, we also bring in our partners. In which case, it would span about a week of time at on site, followed by 2 weeks of time to curate your document, the report, and everything. So it depends upon what kind of assessment we are doing.
Perfect. And also tell us what happens after the assessment is completed. I mean, what kind of ROI should we expect?
So the main important thing that we give you is a detailed, extensive, a report,
Mhm.
which could serve as a roadmap. And this report is again backed by our industry experience, our suggestions, what we have learned over the past 25 years. So we bring in those experience into this report, and we give you an extensive, plan as to how you should go about upgrading your services. As Bajrang mentioned previously, this report is distributed into 4 phases. The phase one will tell you what your current structure is, where you are currently, what things needs to be changed on your current infrastructure. Then it will jump onto section where we say, okay, if based on your approach, what you want to do in your business, what things needs to be changed first before even you go and buy a new software or jump on a new CCM technology. So we will help you with that part. And after that, we'll tell you a phased approach. We'll tell you, okay, phase one, this is what you have to do. Phase two, this is what we'll do. And phase three, this is what we have to do. So in that way, you can budget way better, when you actually have to start doing this implementation.
Perfect. I have one last question. And this one says, can assessments be done even if we are not planning a platform migration right now? I know you touched upon this briefly, but can you tell us
Yeah.
once again?
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, yeah, I mean, the benefit of an assessment is like, if you do a yearly assessment, we will be in your industry, we will be working with your organization, so we know what your long-term goals are, and that gives us this unique opportunity wherein we could recommend you the right kind of change required at right time, right? So that's the reason why we recommend doing an assessment before you start your budgeting for next year, so that whatever things we identify, we could highlight them in our report, and you could use that as a data point when you have to budget for next year. So you can then prioritize which of these things you need to be fixed first in your upcoming year, and you can budget for them accordingly. So yes, we recommend doing it on a yearly basis if you could. As I said in my closing statement, you are proactively securing your production readiness, right? Operational readiness. And if that has to be successful, you definitely need to invest some kind of budget for the assessment so that you have those data points ready whenever you want to make the changes.
True, true. Thank you so much to our audience for such insightful questions, and also to Rejoy and Bajram for these detailed answers. And if today's discussion resonated with you, and if you're looking forward to modernize your communication workflows, optimize your operations, or simply get clarity on where your organization stands, our team is here to help you. To schedule your assessment or simply speak with our team, just reach out using the contact details provided, or you can visit our website and connect with a specialist. And this is just the beginning, guys. We will meet very soon once again with another exciting topic and more useful insights to explore together. So
Perfect.
stay tuned. Yes, yes, Rita, you wanted to say
No,
something.
I just wanted to say before you close, like thank you to you and your team, to organize this webinar. And I also wanted to, say special thanks to all the audience who have joined here. Thank you for taking the time and effort to come up on this event. We value your time and we really appreciate that you are here.
Oh, yes. Majan, closing remarks from you too.
Yep. I just wanted to say thank you whoever joined this webinar and patiently listened for last 30 minutes. So thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yes. Thank you so much for all your time and stay tuned, stay engaged, and let's keep moving forward one conversation at a time. Thank you, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you,
Good
everyone.
Thank
day.
you. Thank you, everyone. Yep.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.